Nice to be here and update you on our story. We're in Red Lake, and our key here is we're doing really two things, and I'll give you our highlights as a start point. In Red Lake, which is a great camp, high-grade camp, it's produced over 30 million ounces of gold so far. It was Goldcorp was founded in Red Lake on gold deposits there. Our project's about 15 to 20 kilometers due west of the Goldcorp mine complex. We've got three former mines on the property that produced back in the 1930s, high-grade gold mines. We have good potential to increase our resource that we put out last year. We published our initial resource of just almost 1.1 million ounces of 7.5 grams. We see good opportunity to expand that resource and also develop other resources on the property. And then, as Brian mentioned, we have this great target called the structural intersection target, which, if we're successful there, will really re-rate the company from where it is now in our basic game plan to build value over the next 3 years. And Goldcorp's a partner on the central part of our property, so they're funding that part of the program. Our management team, I've been with the company for 3 years. A couple of the major shareholders who own about 35% of the stock asked me to come in and run this company. In a previous company, I'd taken it from a 3 million market cap to 200 million market cap on a similar scenario. Some old mines we developed, took it from 60,000 ounces to 2.2 million ounces and sold it for $200 million. This company right now has a market value of about 20 million, and we think we can get up to the same kind of market value that we sold the old company for over the next 3 years with the work that we have planned on our base case, build and develop a mine property. We also have John Contact, who's with us. John developed the project in Timmins with Victory Mines, which is now owned by Osisko. We've got John Heslop. John's a veteran of the mining industry. He put the Hoyle Pond mine into production in Timmins, which is now a Goldcorp mine. He's the former president of the PDAC. We got Michael Dane, who used to be with Goldcorp. He's a senior exploration geologist in Red Lake. So we have a good, well-rounded, solid management team. In terms of share structure, we've got 107 million shares out. As I mentioned, about 35% are owned by our two largest shareholders who fund the company on an ongoing basis. Management and their families own about close to 10% of the stock, and then we have a few other large shareholders as well. So there's a good, solid holding, long-term holders in the company. Management itself owns stock. It doesn't have options. The options those are out to directors and consultants and other people who help us, but management has skin in the game. So the Red Lake camp, the right-hand side, that's where Goldcorp is. So Goldcorp's right in this area here. That's their property. So that's the Red Lake mine, that's the Campbell mine, and we're over here. We're in the west side of the camp. We've got three former mines here. Down here you've got the Madsen mine, which is pure gold mining, and Premier Gold is in this area here. They're doing work, and that's where Rubicon has reformed and got themselves going again. The key part of our property is that we've got this main structure running east-west through into Red Lake, and then we have the structural intersection coming up this way. The area in yellow is this area in here. We own 100% in this piece, so we own two mines 100%, and this tan-colored area we have in partnership with Goldcorp. We're the operator. We have 60%. Now this gives you a look at the property in the long section. So here's the resource that we put out. We published this just a little over a year ago. We have about 1.1 million ounces, and we're just going to continue drilling it to depth. About a week or 10 days ago, we put out some holes where we'd done some drilling. We tried to extend a little bit to the east and west, but we found that really what we're finding is which is what we thought, the mineralization is going to depth. Our best hole was 72 grams over 3 meters. So as we go down, we predict that we'll continue to hit more high grade and be able to build a resource there. The structural intersection is over here. We have the Red Summit mine, which is a little further to the east, which is over here. And then in the middle, we have the structural intersection because we have a structure coming up from the south. So we have the east-west going into Red Lake itself, and this one coming up from the south. And theoretically, there's a big deposit in here where two different types of rock are in contact, and we're actually going to drill a hole starting in June, and we're going to drill a hole into it like that. we've got a piece of ground right up here that we can set up a drill on, and we can test this target. So if we're lucky here, we're going to have a lot of fun with this company. I mean, as I said earlier, our plan is just to build it and develop it over the next 3 years, do the steady work, expand resources, build new deposits at some of the other mine sites, do the development work, the permitting, the mine planning, all that sort of thing. However, if we have exploration success, we'll be able to ramp up value much faster for shareholders. Just to give you an example of what we're looking at the mine itself, one of the zones that we have 4 principal zones with resource in them. We've just started to do some internal studies on what a mine would look like as a phase 1. This area here is in our 101 zone. We selected an area that's got a grade that's about twice the resource grade. It would be ramp mine, so we show a ramp in here. So this is the kind of work that's going on behind the scenes that as we develop the project for sale to somebody who would actually put it in production some 3 years down the road. This is our resource. So we've got the resource that we put out a year ago was a 3-gram bottom cut, so we had a 7.75 grams per ton, just under 1.1 million ounces. When we do our resource studies or our mine studies, we're actually using the 5-gram because we're trying to come up with stuff that's around 10 grams. And when you do that, you don't actually lose many ounces. So we can still generate a lot of ounces at a much higher grade, which makes the project much more attractive to mining companies. This slide here shows you Mount Jamie, when that mine was in production in the 30s, and also the Red Summit. Mount Jamie is the next place where we're going to go and do some work later this year as well. I asked our our geological engineer to have a look at the Mount Jamie, and he said it looks like another Rowan. So there's no ounces there now, so we think we can generate a resource there in addition to expanding the Rowan resource. And so that's how we're going to build value for mining companies outside of our exploration targets, which we hope will build a lot of value for us faster. And so just to sum up, our game plan is to build value through developing a resource at the Rowan mine, expanding it, developing more resource at the Mount Jamie and expanding that. We also want to try and make some real success with exploration, which we'll start this summer on, going after some big targets. And overall, our goal is to sell this company to a mining company, either, as I said before, just doing the steady work and developing it from where we are today at sort of a $30 per ounce in the ground resource upwards to the kind of levels you get when you sell these things in better markets, which typically they can trade out at a couple $100 an ounce. So there's a lot of upside for us in terms of building value, the market helping us and increasing the resource. And finally, if we get some exploration success on these big targets we're going after, we'll ramp up a lot faster and a lot higher. So thanks very much for seeing our story.